All right, folks, welcome to Saturday morning call. I think it's the 13th of December. And that today we will talk about basically the path and the way that people are on the path. Now, the the suttas cover two different paths, what they call the gradual path and also the immediate path. And that the Buddhist path is actually the direct path, the immediate path, and yet people constantly, on a regular basis, throughout all the past 2,500 years, prefer the gradual path. And that's an amazing point. Now, also in a sutta someplace, it talks about that there is a four-way combination: the quick and easy, the quick and hard, the slow and easy, and the slow and hard. And for some reason, most of the people, in fact, almost everyone, chooses the slow, hard path. And in fact, they choose it without even knowing that they're choosing it. It's sort of the resultant of the way that they practice. Now, let's talk about these different paths. What is the distinction between the fast, easy and the fast, hard? Has to do with right noble effort. When people are putting in too much effort because they're in a hurry, then that hurry is dukkha, and doing the path hard or strenuous is also dukkha. So that's the fast hard path, and the fast easy path would be the path of the Buddha, in the sense of doing the right noble effort at just the point that's necessary. That in fact, you probably heard me discuss that right noble effort can be defined as just the least amount of effort necessary. Now, the slow hard path versus the slow easy path is that the slow hard path is because people are not practicing at all, or when they do practice, they practice hard. And by that way, they're not making much progress. That in fact, whenever you're practicing correctly, at that moment, you're already there. That there's a direct path. Go there directly. Do not pass go. Do not go to jail. Do not do anything other than just relax and be happy right here, right now. That's the actual path of the Buddha, and there are so many sutras where that's pointed out. And so we can see then that these four types of slow, easy, slow, hard, fast, easy, and fast, hard also have a quality of feelings and how we deal with feelings. Feelings and right effort have the way of doing it. Now, there are several mistakes that are made, and these mistakes wind up being taught, because the teachers in the fact in the Theravada tradition, all one needs is 10 years as a monk, and then you can become an achan, whether you have a clue or not about what the Dhamma is actually about. Uh, that would be kind of like a unionized labor rather than merit oriented. That in fact, in the time of the Buddha, the Sangha was merit oriented, simply because the Buddha was there to assign the merit. But on his death, and since then, it has been longevity oriented. And the reason for that is because there is no one who can be trusted in any local location or even worldwide that can make that distinction about what is meritful and what is not. So they reverted back to the time issue. There's also the situation that I've seen is elderly monks who have been in the Dhamma for many, many years, 40, 50, 60 years in the Dhamma. And as they've aged, they have forgotten a lot about what's happened in their own past, and therefore they cut right to the chase. A clear example of that, and I'll go ahead and name the name, is Biachan Samedo, has several videos out. In one of them in particular, he talks about that right noble effort is no effort at all. Well, that's only true if you've already developed right noble effort. And in fact, right noble effort gets easier and easier to the point that it becomes dead easy because of the skill. But when that video has been posted on YouTube, so many people will hear that, and then they will not take the right noble effort. So, like I said, right noble effort is just enough effort to get the job done, but most people hear that as no effort at all, therefore they're not practicing, they're not doing anything, and yet they think that they're in the Dhamma. I see that quite evident, by the way, on our group here of people not practicing, and yet they think that they know all about the Dhamma. But really, the Dhamma is not in knowledge, it's in practice. And that people don't necessarily need much Dhamma, let us say sutta knowledge, scholarship, becoming a famous translator, etc., like that, because in fact it's quite well known that the translators who have been translating were translating in order for them to understand the Dhamma, and they would understand it if they would practice, but they don't practice, they translate. And because of that, the translations are full of crap. That doesn't mean to not read the sutras at all, but rather you have to learn how to read through the crap so that you can see crap when it occurs. Mostly the crap that we find in the sutras is just individual words that are wrongly translated. I'll give you a dozen or so if you like. One of them is the translation of the word nibbana, which means coolness. But it's been wrongly translated in so many different ways, almost to the point that it's a place, maybe like a Christian heaven. Another word that's badly translated is the word samadhi, often translated as concentration. However, the word concentration generally has the quality of tightness, and it also has the quality of removing excess fluff, to where the actual Pali word samadhi has more to do with cleanliness and completeness. And so there's many words that are badly translated, and another one which we need to look at would be the word about Vedana, which means feeling, and that we often confuse, because of our own language, emotion with feeling. And that emotion actually is what we see as feeling, rather than recognizing that feeling brings up emotion. That emotion is actually after it has tanha and upadana. That emotion is the expression of the clinging. That the actual feeling is a very quick and very small amount of liking and not liking. So once you've gotten to the level of emotion, that's like the cup is already completely full, and now you're pouring hot coffee all over the table. Where what we want to do is to stop pouring coffee right away. So the ability to see feelings and to change them actually is the right noble effort. And yet, when people mistake emotion with feeling, they think that it's too big and too late. But in fact, there's quite a popular and fairly well known Western teacher who says that emotion, or he's using the word feeling, is way too powerful, and that one can't change it, and that the only way to deal with it is with Kanti, or patience, to be patient with your emotional outburst. And the Buddha says, no, 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 no. That's not the way of practice. The correct way of practice is to see the feeling wisely when it occurs so that we don't get into an emotional state. So there's a lot of places where bad translations and misunderstanding about translations. So even the word Vedana, translated into the word feeling, is suspicious because we confuse the word feeling with emotion. You can see the word emotion actually has the word motion in it. Feeling doesn't have any motion, but emotion, or tanha, has a lot of moving around. You could almost say that it's if you're using the issue of an automobile, the engine is the emotion, the power, but where is the steering wheel pointed? That would be the feeling, or the Vedana that the Buddha talks about. So, in this regard, much of the problem that we have with the teaching of the Buddha is, in fact, because it's been translated by people who didn't understand the Dhamma from the very beginning. And so we're lucky that we have access still to not only Bhikkhu Buddhadasa, but through his lineage and with Ajahn Chah and the stuff that's been written down by them and about them, means that we actually do have access to the actual Dhamma. Now, Ivan made a point is that we're actually quite lucky, quite fortunate to have access to the Dhamma. I would say that that's absolutely true, because if you have no access to the actual Dhamma, then you have no idea how to actually practice. But the real fortunate comes in by applying it, not by studying it, not by trying to make sure that you've got it right, but rather to put just a little knowledge that we have into using right effort to start changing the way that we feel, changing the way that we look at things, changing our attitude. That the Buddha, Bhikkhu Buddhadasa, made a big point about this over and over again, that the Buddhist practice, the Buddhist model, is a change model. But we have to actually do the changing. This is what the practice is all about, is to start making changes. If we start making changes and continue to practice, your path will be quick and easy. If you don't practice correctly and are practicing strenuously, you might have, let us say, relatively fast results. I would say that the quick and easy can be done less than 5 years, but the quick and hard, probably 10. The slow and easy, maybe 20 years, and the slow and hard, not a chance. Never get there. That's the path that most people choose, is the slow and the hard, because they're either not practicing at all or they're practicing too hard because they want something, and that the whole quality is immediately coming into a state of not wanting anything. This is the real teaching, and that's all there is to it. And we're quite lucky to be able to hear this. But the real luck, the real fortune comes in the actual practice. I state this over and over again, and yet it is fairly easy to see that some people are not practicing much at all. And so this is something that that I make a big point about, is that if we're not practicing, we're not going to get much results. If you're practicing too hard, you're not going to get much results. You've got to find that sweet spot, that balance point, to make things really easy right away, to start having an easy life right now. This is the path. And that by practicing the Eightfold Noble Path correctly means then that we do a lot of it. We remember to look. We remember to look and then to change. We remember to look and change, and then we can gain the benefit of that change immediately. And if we keep practicing that over and over again, we very quickly come to the point that we know that we can do this. When people start anything, the first time some auto mechanic tears an engine down, he would be better off to have an experienced mechanic there to show him what to do. But some guys just tear into their car or tear into their motorcycle because they've got no one to help them. The same is true about sewing machines, that if you've got an experienced seamstress that can show you how, you can get there a lot quicker. And so we're really lucky to have this lineage of through Bhikkhu Buddhadasa. We also have Achan Cha's lineage through Achan Samedo, Achan Amaro, Achan Pisano. We also have Dhamma Vitu. We've got a number of monks that actually do understand the Dhamma, but they all, each one has their own view of it, and that we can't just take one teacher and say, oh, he knows everything, because then we're dependent upon a particular teacher. No, the best teacher that you're ever going to have is your own practice. You have to see it for yourself. This is part of the Pali chanting that the monks do, that has to do with, you have to see it directly, you have to do it yourself. It's immediate. And so it's also timeless in the sense that it doesn't have a time span of 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, that it's immediate, that if you're practicing correctly, you get immediate benefit, immediate result. Can you see that immediate benefit, that immediate result? And so this is actually the path that the Buddha teaches, is a direct path that has value immediately if you're practicing correctly. So let's take this moment now and see if we can get some feedback about this. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, in the in the past, before meeting the sort of teaching, as you put it forward, when I first met it, I was on the sort of slow, hard path, plugging away and just trying various different things, and nothing really was of lasting benefit. Like, yeah, but finding anapanasati and putting that into practice, it does have immediate benefits. You can see the benefit is here and now when you do practice.
Right. Part of that practice, by the way, is the looking and then the seeing correctly what is dukkha and what is not dukkha. That's actually the core of the teachers, the Buddha's teaching is the Four Noble Truths. And the first noble truth there is dukkha. Can you see it? Do you have the skill to see it? And the answer to that is you must practice in order to see the dukkha. If you can see the dukkha, then you can immediately do something about it. So that you can hear the Dhamma in this way, and then start practicing correctly and be in Arahant already, because you're practicing only looking and remembering to look and remembering to change, and that's all there is to the path. Why is it that people would choose the gradual path? Why is it that, in fact, they don't choose the gradual path? They just don't remember that there is a very quick, easy path. They don't remember.
Yeah.
They
People
don't.
either don't remember or they've just not encountered it, like they've not came into contact with it.
Yeah, they can't see the dukkha. They can't see it. But if once you begin to see the dukkha, you begin to start looking for it. And the more you look, the more you find. And the more you look and find, the more you change. And so your changing then becomes a new skill that you have, so that, as Ajahn Sumedho says, real right noble efforts, no effort at all. That's because you've got the skill already developed. But we do have to develop the skill.
Yeah.
So, Potato, Eric, what do you have to say?
Reminds me of a couple of weeks ago you were talking about that if we don't take action on the dukkha we see, a little learning, a little practices causes a bit more suffering. And I've been trying to find the middle path for my experience right now, because I feel like I've practiced, uh, let's say, a proper amount of time every day, and that I keep Dhamma in my mind. But on the other hand, I also see that I'm still in some amount of dukkha.
Yes,
So
but
yeah,
look and change it. Whenever you see the dukkha, you can say, "Oh, I can change this right now."
yeah, and I can, and also I stop doing it, and then I do it again. But the general result is a little bit mixed.
Right. So, Ivan, what do you have to say?
I was having a short conversation with Alex yesterday about that. Like, I found it very interesting. If in any other Buddhist circle, when if there's a saying of "Hey, you can change immediately," the change is immediate. People seem very resistant to that idea. I found that so interesting. It it really makes me realize how deep ignorance is. Thinking you know, but you don't know, and I really appreciate how subtle the noble Dhamma is, and it really inspired me to practice more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're making a good point. Thank you, Ivan. Yes, it looks like most of, or much of, or even all of culture is working directly against the Dhamma student. Two examples of that would be Christianity. They have the idea of, oh, you need Jesus, that you can't do it on your own. But in fact, the really important point is that there's an awful lot of people who go around saying that they've got Jesus, but they still have a lot of dukkha. So Jesus is not working. In fact, everybody who has a Jesus generally winds up having even more dukkha than they would have if they had no religion at all.
Mm.
And the other one, surprisingly enough, is the whole world of psychotherapy, from the shrinks and the psychologists and the psychiatrists and the psychoanalysts and the social workers. They're all caught into the point that not one of them is free yet. And so, how can they teach people to be free when none of them are free? None of them are practicing Dhamma, but they want you to listen to them. And if you listen to your psychologist and did what he advised and practiced that, then your time with the psychotherapist would be quick and easy, that you'd get it immediately, that they do give good advice, but they don't insist that you actually practice what they teach. They would rather you come back and pay them again to hear it a second time. Also, it's quite well known, in fact, it's taught at the university level, that you don't tell a person what's wrong with them, because if you do tell somebody what's wrong with them, one of two things is going to happen. One is they're going to agree. And if they agree, yes, you're right, now I know what's wrong with me, and then they leave the psychiatrist immediately. The second part is that if the psychologist or psychiatrist does tell them what's wrong with them and they disagree, now they may leave because they don't believe the psychologist or psychiatrist. So the job of the psychologist or psychiatrist is to try to get people to see what the problem is. With Buddhism, we work differently. We tell them what's wrong with them, but we do it through stories, through analogies, through a much more direct method of telling them this is exactly what you need to hear, without the ego coming in and saying, oh no, that's not me. But the point is that everybody should be able to hear, yes, that's what the problem is. Let me practice to get over it. Let me do that. I'll tell you a bit of a story, by the way. When I was graduating from high school and going to university, I was in a fine arts program, not a music education. And there we had to have 2 years of piano unless you could pass the audition. And I'd had 7 years of piano practice by then. And so the chairman of the department wouldn't pass me because he didn't like my rendition of Chopin's Waltz in C sharp minor, because I'd had just an ordinary woman who graduated and got her musical education degree. And so now she's one of the town's piano teachers. I was heartbroken because I had to go do 2 years of piano when I'd already had 7 years of practice. That would slow down my education. And not only that, but I already knew the piano better than any of the students who were going to do 2 years. And so I remembered that I had seen a guy, I was in band camp the year before that, and that one of the things that we had to go listen through is this guy getting his PhD in musicologist, and he gave a concert. Turns out he was actually in the next county. And so I went to him, and what he had me do was unlearn that waltz. I had to unlearn it because I had learned it wrong. I was using the wrong fingering, the wrong technique, and other things like that. And so he helped me to unlearn it, which actually was the slow, hard part. It was slow and it was hard to unlearn that piece of music. But by unlearning it, that meant, and what we mean by unlearning, by the way, is to try that same passage with 5 or 6 different fingering techniques, different tempos, different rhythms, so that I got unwired from the way that I had been playing it, so that then I could start to play it correctly. If I had played it correctly from the first place, I wouldn't have had to go through all of that. So that was a major life lesson for me, that it's better to learn it right the first time than it is to learn it wrong, because all along you'll most likely continue to do it wrongly rather than doing it correctly. That's what causes the hard slow and the hard fast. What makes it hard is that we learn it wrong right from the very beginning. So, as Ivan was pointing out, you guys are really lucky to be here so that you can learn how to practice correctly. Because if you learn how to practice correctly and continue that, you'll be making good progress very quickly. So what do you think, Ivan?
Yeah, when you're talking about unlearning, I can see that in myself too. My personal slow heart process was definitely on the unlearning part. There's a lot of weird view I had carried through. I mean, before the Dharma practice, I had this meditation, like some Hinduism kind of stuff. So there's a lot to unlearn. But when I unlearned it, it was like, wow, it's really nice. It's really simple. Like the Buddha teaching is a dead loss. You just keep losing things, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the major things that people do wrong, is they think they're going to get something new. They're going to get some attainment. Oh, I've got jhana. Oh, I've got sotapan. Oh, I've got arahat. They're looking to gain something, to where the actual teaching of the Buddha is all a dead loss. You're going to lose stuff. What are you going to lose? You're going to lose your dukkha. You're going to lose your thought about getting something. And stop trying to get something and be satisfied with what you've already got. And wow, is that a hard lesson for many people to learn, to start practicing to lose stuff rather than practicing to get something. So, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Dhammarato, totally resonate with the idea of practicing to get something. I did that for a long time, and yeah, getting this like hearing you say that the path is a dead loss. That's a really powerful reframing for me. So yeah, I love that. It's kind of a relief, actually.
It is. What a relief it is. Wow, I don't have to do anything. Wow, I don't have to go anywhere. Wow, I can just be satisfied with the way things are. That's not easy for Westerners. It goes exactly upside down and backwards from Christianity, psychology, the whole educational system. Everything is against you. Business is against you. Education is against you. Everything is against you being happy. They want you to go do what they tell you to do so that you can be happy with them telling you that you did a good job, rather than, I don't need their job, I'm already happy.
Yeah, it's like totally contrary to the whole kind of achievement trip that I feel like I've grown up learning. Yeah,
So
I did have a
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I had a question. Earlier in the talk you were talking about Vedana and how it's feeling isn't a great word for it. I was wondering if you could explain what does Vedana mean? This is one of the 4 foundations, right? We were talking about that last week, but
Yes, the Vedana is actually driven mostly by attitude, and that it's talked about in the sense of liking and not liking. So if you have a tendency to like something, then you want it. And because you want it and you don't have it, you become dissatisfied. But if you can come to the state of not wanting anything, can you see when you want something? Or you can look a little deeper and see, oh, it's because I liked it. So Vedana in and of itself and on its own is I like this, I don't like that, is not so much that can, let us say, be changed, but it can be seen. And if you can see, Bhikkhu Buddhadasa talks about it as wisdom at the point of contact, so that if you can see your Vedana, then you can, in fact, manage your emotion because you take the wanting out of it. Oh, yeah, it's nice. I like it, but I don't want it. That's an important point of being able to like something and not want it, or to be able to not like something and be easy in the sense of, yeah, so what? Now, that's true mostly from physical reality, that we go around liking physical reality and not liking physical reality. An example of that is somebody criticizes you. Well, you can, if you see that you don't like that, but there's nothing to it, then you can just leave it at the level of not liking. You don't have to go to the level of, I don't want him to say those things about me. It's dangerous. That if everybody knew that about me or thought that about me, woe is me. Okay, so that's all additional a bunch of stuff. But if you can see that all Vedana is just ordinary. Now, really the point is that if we can see this Vedana, this niggle, this little liking and not liking, we can change that. We can change the story that we have. And in fact, if you look at Anapanasati Sutta, you can see that Vedana then is the two twin skills of sukha and piti, and that the sukha skill is to come up to be satisfied. So the little Vedana of I don't like it, but that's okay, I'm satisfied anyway. So we can actually, through not liking, can gain satisfaction through the sukha. And so that's what's to be developed, so that we don't get into emotion. Thanks for making that point. It's a subtle point, so that we can actually gain sukha through dissatisfaction, or we can gain dukkha, or excuse me, we can gain sukha through um, liking or pleasant Vedana. But mostly people choose the liking in order to give themselves dukkha. Oh, I want it and I don't have it, or they don't like it and then they hate somebody or they hate it. And so wise Vedana then always will bring on sukha, and the sukha will grow into the wow, I can really do this, I can handle this. But almost always Vedana is ignorant, and it grows into tanha, wanting, thirsting, and then into upadana, into full-blown emotion. Does that help you?
Yeah, it does. That's a totally different take than like I mean from like Goenka explains it as sensation, like body sensation, but the way you're explaining it's like quite different. It's about the
Mm,
kind of liking or disliking, if I understand
mhm.
it.
Yes, and sensation in the body can either be liking or not liking. And that his whole method is based upon getting people into a state of bodily sensation that is unpleasant, which means we don't like it, and then try to develop khanti, or forbearance, or endurance with the sensation. Where the Buddha would say, oh no, don't actually try to become in a state of unpleasant sensation that you can then endure, but rather see that you don't like it immediately and do something about it immediately to get the body back into a state of comfortableness.
Mm.
And so Goenka really takes people way off in the wrong direction with that strong determination sittings and the scanning that he does. He got just a little bit of Dhamma and took it way off in the wrong direction. You can see that also from what Giannis and tomorrow we'll talk about the Sabha Asava Sutta, where there is a distinction between that which needs to be developed and that which needs to be endured. And that the development is the development of piti sukha, to be able to develop the wise feelings of, wow, this is okay, this is just fine, this is great, I can handle this just no problem, as opposed to having feelings that manifest themselves as emotion that then you can't do anything about because they're too big, too heavy, too powerful. And so the point is to get this stuff early. In fact, get it so quickly that you manage the story that you have so that you can control what kind of Vedana is going to arise.
Mm.
So is Sean there yet?
Yeah, hey Dhammarato. Yeah, I've been here. Thanks for the talk. Actually had the same the same question as Matt. We were kind of discussing as you were talking, but I also had another question, which is, I mean, it seems pretty plain and obvious that that there's like immediate results, right? And but then I don't know. Sometimes there's language around like, okay, I mean, you even said it, and I'm not gonna like obviously hold you to that. That when you were like saying, oh, the quick and easy will take 5 years, and the hard and easy the quick and hard take 10, and all that stuff. And it's like, so I guess yeah, it's I don't know. I just feel like there's like a nuance in there for me that I'm like grappling with. I probably just need to put down. It doesn't matter, like because it does feel like there's like some sort of development that is happening, and which is not immediate, and that development is something along the lines of maybe like how easily I see the dukkha, how quick I am to deal with it, how skillfully I deal with it, how much.
That's the word, skill.
Mhm.
We practice and we practice and we practice to develop that skill. And if we're practicing correctly, that means that we're developing the skill correctly. But most people, as an example, have developed the skill of blaming someone else when they see their dukkha. Rather than immediately just removing the dukkha. Let us say that the master builder walks into the construction project and he sees a bent over nail, and that bent over nail then bends him over too. So he wants to know who did that bend over nail, and he goes around and points and blames half the staff, and nobody knows about who did that bent over nail. It would have taken him 5 seconds just to remove the nail and to put it back in correctly. But he spent an hour or two trying to find out who did that bent over nail. Okay? So we could do the same with our own mind instead of trying to find out where it came from. In psychology, they call it psychological archaeology. They go try to find out, oh, this is what happened when I was a baby, and this is what happened, and because of that, I'm like this. and they're still not removing that bent over nail. What we need to do instead is yank that thing out and put it in straight. John, does that make sense for you then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're not interested in how things happen. We're interested in fixing it right now. So, Navid, do you have something to say?
Yes, Dhammarato. I thought you couldn't top last week's, and today's even better. But yeah, I didn't realize the immediacy of this. I used to just see the dukkha and just go a little deeper in the dukkha before I gladden the mind. But I just realized how quickly. That's why you have to be on guard and always looking. Is that correct?
Yes, to develop it so that you keep looking and keep looking and keep looking and keep looking. Like every breath, you can see it. This is why the word is used as unremitting. It's not like you just always there. It's like you keep coming back and coming back and coming back. The skill is the coming back.
Yes.
To apply and to apply and to apply. That's the skill.
Wonderful.
All right. So, Hannah, do you have something to say? Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Hi. I'm actually totally new here. I'll take this time to introduce myself.
Well,
So this is
hi.
my first time joining. Hi. I'm calling in from Toronto, Canada. Yeah, so I'm really just listening in. I appreciate everything I've been hearing so far. I've been, I guess you could say, also on this slow, hard path, like many, for like a few years. And I think this year, getting more clarity. I've been practicing in the Thai forest tradition. There's a monastery near me in Ottawa, Tisurana. Um,
Okay. So, do you have any thing to say about today's talk? Thanks for your introduction, by the way.
Cut off. Hannah, you there?
Yeah, it shows her no microphone. Oh, there she comes. Nope. Okay, Nick, how about you? Do you have something to say?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all good. I was going to ask, when you say Vedana, is Maya or Mara, is that the before that, or is that you could consider Vedana as the beginning of Maya?
No, Maya
okay,
is
I'm back.
different. So you're back. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear anything you were saying, but now I can hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I was saying, hang on, Nick. Do you have anything to say about the talk that we were having today?
I'm curious about, you were talking about with the Goenka method, how it's like it's not necessary to kind of use that the strong determination sitting, and that it's better to just kind of at the root see the suffering. And I'm wondering if you have an example of what that looks like in practice.
Yeah, if somebody hands you a hot rock, how long are you going to hold it?
Not long, I hope.
All right. Okay. So if Goenka puts you in a posture that's hot, how long are you going to stay in that posture? As long as he tells you to stay in that posture? Or are you going to change your posture so that you can gain some comfort immediately?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he's trying to teach Kanti. He's trying to teach forbearance or endurance or patience, where in fact what happens instead is just aversion.
Mm-hmm.
That in fact the way to learn patience or Kanti is by deciding what you can and can't change. And then you begin to see that it's not what you can and can't change, it's your attitude about it. And some things, like external sensations in the body, are not coming from the mind. And so we can change our posture so that we can become comfortable. That in fact, we can't get satisfaction, we can't get sukha if the body's not comfortable.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So, Nick, back to you. What were you saying?
The distinction between Maya, self, and the Vedanas.
Um, Actually, that would be a topic that we can talk about at a later time. But I'll give you the quick answer is that, and we're looking at it from the teaching of Paticca that Maya or self doesn't come up until after the emotion. That in fact, along with emotion, along with grasping, clinging, and wanting and desiring, becomes the self or the desire.
Okay, so it's an earlier point. I understand.
Yeah, and so Vedana is an earlier point. That's
Yep.
why I called it the steering wheel rather than the motor. All
Okay,
right,
thank you.
so we've talked to everybody. Why don't we do a few moments of practice? Time to practice. So what I would suggest for everybody is to turn your camera on. If you turn your cameras on, that'll put you more in it so that we can do this as a group. And now the next thing after you turn your cameras on is to get into a state of comfort. Find a sitting position that's comfortable. And maintain that comfort. And the next step then is to take a breath, an easy but long breath, a relaxing breath. And notice the body as you're noticing the comfort. Become comfortable and relax the body. And with that, then we could start to look at what the mind is doing so that we can see that the mind right now is actually focused on the body and the body's relaxation. So if we can stay there, but the mind will wander away as it generally does. And if it does wander away, come back. Come back and watch the breath and come back and be with the thought of, wow, I'm glad I can come back to just being here, just being in the body, being in the present moment without having the mind carry us away into the past or into the future, but just be here now. And if the mind wanders away, never mind, come back to the present moment, come back into the body, come back in and look at the breathing and recognize that everything is okay right now. That's the development of sukha, is that everything is all right. Everything is fine. So any thoughts that you have thoughts of everything is okay, not a problem in the world, no place to go, nothing to do, and everything is okay right here, right now. Then let the sound of my voice remind you to really look at what the mind is doing, because it moves fast. The mind is so fast, folks, really fast. And so bring it back to the present moment with thoughts like everything is okay, not a problem in the world, no place to go. Gosh, everything is just great. And if the mind wanders away, never mind. Just come back and say, wow, I caught you. I saw that wandering mind. And now we can come back to the state of everything is all right. Everything is fine. Wow, I like this. This is satisfying. No worries, no dangers. Feel safe and secure and comfortable. And wow, this feels good. And the thought is, we can do this. This is not a hard practice. We can do it. We can bring ourselves to this state of relaxed peace. Everything is okay. Wow, everything is nice. And if the mind wanders away, never mind. Wow, I'm so glad I could see that that mind has wandered away. Let's bring it back to this present moment and be here now. Wow, we can do this. We can keep bringing the mind back. We can do this. No matter how many times the mind wanders away, we can always keep bringing it back. Wow, this is great. We can do this. We can congratulate ourselves. We can actually gain some value from this. Wow, oh, wow. How few times do you take to just be okay? So we keep practicing, just coming back to being okay. This is fine. Not a worry in the world. No place to go and nothing to do. And wow, just relax. This is great. This is so great. This is so great. So let's just sit here with how nice it is. Then remember to look again. What's the mind doing? Is the mind still focusing on the present moment, focusing on the body, focusing on the breath? If not, bring it back. Never mind, start again. Look at what the mind is doing and then make a change. Changing back to be here now. Everything is all right. Not a problem in the world. We can get used to this. We can develop this as a skill so that there's not a problem in the world. Everything is all right. Wow, how marvelous it is that there is no problem. This is really great. Wow, we feel so good because everything is already just okay. Don't have to get anything, don't have to go anyplace, just everything is just fine. No dukkha. Wow, isn't that marvelous? And so now let's take another deep breath, open the eyes, and come back in a happy, peaceful, contented. Keep this going. Let this thought of everything is all right, everything is fine, not a worry in the world. Just keep this thought going. Remember that everything is already okay. Everything is all right. Everything is fine. Not a problem in the world. And we can actually have that kind of thought when we open our eyes and look around and say, wow, everything is all right. Everything is fine. There's not a problem anywhere. No worries, no work to do, no politicians to fix. Everything is already okay. Oh, boundless joy to find at last that there's no happiness out there in the world. Let us have that boundless joy coming from within. Everything is already okay. Don't have to go get anything. We've already got all we need, which is nothing much at all. So, Matt, what do you think?
It's all good. Feeling
Everything,
good.
everything is good. How about you, Ivan? What do you think?
Satisfied, and will
Uh,
keep being satisfied.
Everything is all right. How about you, Ben?
All is good. Thanks, Dhammarato.
Everything is good. How about you, Hannah? Everything is all right, huh?
Yes, everything's good.
Wow, isn't that marvelous? Everything is just okay. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, everything is good.
Everything is good. Navid, how you doing?
Great. I'm not even thinking anymore. There's no thoughts.
So, Mikey, why don't you take this thing and land this plane?
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and check out the video description. Welcome to come join us here on the Dhamma Friends Discord. We enjoy hanging out in this Hangout channel here on the server. And for those of you here on the call, you're welcome to stay. And you're welcome to join this Hangout channel whenever you'd like, really. We even have you can do @Hangout for when you're hanging out here and let people know if you'd like to talk a bit of Dhamma and share something on the practice, something like this. Also, check out OpenSanghaFoundation.org. We've got things like a Sangha map there with plenty of blots on it, as well as books by Bhikkhu Buddhadasa, talks by Dhammavitu, and a number of other excellent resources that you can play with. So yeah, you can also check out these talks on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. And again, if you are watching this on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment, share this with a friend. Yeah, don't worry, friends. Be happy. Take it easy. Take care.
Does anybody have any final things to say? All right. Well, I welcome you to not go away, but to stay here and meet some friends. You've got some pretty mellow friends right here to mellow with for a little while. So I'm going to leave, and I recommend that you stay and say hi. Anna, you can tell us more about yourself. Ivan's got some things to share. So does Nick. So just hang around and make some friends. This is all about Sangha anyway, that we need noble friends to take us into the noble direction, to help us to stay on the path. So I'm going to go now, but I invite everybody here to stay along.
Thanks, Dhammarato.
Dhammarato.
Thank you.
Dhammarato.
Thank you.